dental competency for OHI for 141. So the first thing that I would tell him that his bleeding index was 65%, and then his plaque score was 30%. I would explain that how I got the calculations was when I disclosed him by leaning him back, putting the disclosing solution on him, and then sitting him back up, giving him a mirror and showing him his teeth. And then I would tell him that the light pink areas are fresh, and that the purple are older. And that even though that he said that he brushes 2 to 3 times a day, that he's still missing spots because there was dark purple in there. So we would teach him later on how to not miss so many spots and lower his plaque index. So I disclosed him. I'm going to show him the mirror, and then I am going to explain the biofilm accumulation, that with the soft drinks that he's drinking, he's making his mouth very acidic, and with the smoking, he is cutting off the nutrients to his gum tissue, and that will cause periodontal disease along with poor healing time. So after we had the discussion with that, we would go and look at his x-rays so that I could explain that the difference between gingivitis, where the inflammation where his gums is red and where he had bleeding at 65% of his mouth, was from inflammation. And the inflammation is what we would consider gingivitis. But since he has some bone loss in his x-rays, and then I would show him, like, this is where your tooth is supposed to be, or your gums are supposed to meet your tooth, and then this is where it's supposed to be at. And that there is a lot of bone loss in between these teeth, and that bone loss is not irreversible. You cannot grow bone back. And that would be the difference between gingivitis and periodontal disease. So then I would take him and show him what we did with his perio chart. And then I would show him that his probing depths, that 1 to 2 would be normal, and that 3 to 4 is mild, and then that, anything above, or 5 to 6 would be severe, and then anything plus a 6 would be a big problem. And then I would show him that early periodontitis looks like this, and that when I stuck the probe in, that it would go into the sulcus down here, and that it went further down than what normal healthy tissue would be, which is anything over 1 to 3 millimeters. And that the inflammation comes from getting stuff up underneath the gum line and down into the sulcus, and it's like a splinter. It will fester, turn red, and bleed. And this is to show that the bone is still not there. It's being ate away. It's being absorbed by the bacteria. And then I would show him that we have a bunch of 3s and 2s on top, a few 4s in posterior. That would be classified as this. And then where we have, we don't have any 5s or 6s, so yeah. So we're going to stick with early periodontitis. Now, Mr. Jones, I am going to show you, well, first you're going to show me how you would get the purple stuff off your teeth. Okay. Now, Mr. Jones, I'm going to show you the method of where we're going to press it at a 45-degree angle, and then we are going to vibrate just a little bit, and then we're going to roll down. We're going to sweep it away from the tooth, and we are going to sweep it out of those interproximal areas on the facial and the lingual sides. And then you're going to do that all the way around. And you're going to roll out. Then, when you get to your linguals of your inside, since vibrating and rolling out can work, but it's not the best method for Mr. Jones, so I would say take your toothbrush, angle it down to where you can feel it hit your gum line, and then you're going to brush up, down, and then you're going to pull out. Up, down, pull out. You'll splatter the mirror. That's how you know you're doing it right. Then you're going to do brush up, down, and roll out. Brush up, down, and roll out. Kids usually like that one because it tickles. So you'll know that you were doing it right if it feels kind of funny. Mr. Jones, I know you said that you didn't like flossing, that it took too much time up, but I'm going to teach you some fast and easy ways to do this, and you should do it, 1 to 2 times a day, but if we can settle for one is better than none. So Mr. Jones, we're gonna take these and we're gonna do it real quick. You're just gonna seesaw it in. You're going to seesaw it into the gum lines. You're gonna pull it towards the tooth, and then you're gonna do like a towel dry up the tooth. And on each tooth, you need to do that. So you have one line in the middle. That means you stick this in here twice and C-shape it and pull up. And you're gonna do that all the way around, and then in the back here, C-shape towards the tooth, C-shape towards the tooth. Now, if you don't like regular wax floss, we do have little things called floss picks, and it has floss on the end, and you would do the same concept. You can sit in your car and do it. You can sit in the bathroom and do it. You can do it in the shower. You can sit on the couch and watch a movie and do it. It's got a little toothpick on the end of it. I would advise getting some of those, or I have some that I can give you to send you home with, and you're gonna just stick them down in there and do it the same way to both sides. You would do just the C shape, but it's gonna be attached to a stick. So you would push it in there, seesaw it, be gentle, and it's gonna go down the sides, and you're gonna pull up. And you're gonna do the other side, you're gonna C-shape it and pull it up. And the more often you do that, the more faster you'll get at it, and the more comfortable it will be.